So,
Planeswalkers. Andrew here, joined by Tyler and our good friend Derrick,
yo, what up?
Hello.
also known as Azhaiel. We're here to talk about Kaldheim now that has the whole set been spoiled yet? Or
Yep.
no? Okay.
Yes, the whole set
All
has been
285.
Okay, so we have
Because-
the entire thing here.
because this video is a little bit different than our usual scheduled videos because this is going up the day after we record it.
Yeah, we wanted. Well, I wanted the set overview to be like on time and not like a couple weeks after
Yeah,
the
like
set gets spoiled.
which we've done in the past where we finally do get a set review, but we have to schedule it for a month out.
Yeah.
And so by the time our set review or set overview comes out, people have been playing with the cards for a month.
Yeah, so this way it's out like a week before the set even drops. Is it coming out on Arena tomorrow?
I'm not sure.
I think so, because I know these finish up, I think, a week before. So I think the pre-release that Loading Ready Run does is tomorrow.
Okay, and then
Because
it'll go
the
into...
pre-release is a week before the actual pre-release, which is a week before the actual release.
Okay, so a week from tomorrow we get the pre-release and the set drops on Arena.
I think it drops on a. You might be right that it drops on Arena tomorrow, because it's been dropping on Arena earlier and earlier.
The 27th.
Okay.
I just googled it.
So Wednesday.
So it does come out before the pre-release by like 2 days.
Yeah.
Okay. Bottom line is this set overview is coming out like right before the set drops, so it's on time.
Because I think the whole, not to mention, I think the whole set was fully revealed like a day or two ago.
Okay. So we brought Derrick here because they're our resident Norse mythology nerd, and we're gonna get some of their insights on who we think some of these characters are based on. Some of them are obvious, some of them are kind of hodgepodges of other characters, I think. But
Yeah, I do like that they kind of went that route. I mean, a little bit more than they did with like Theros, because Theros was kind of more of we're taking one Greek god and dividing it up into multiple Theros gods, whereas Kaldheim seems to be more along the lines of if it's not one single god, then we're going to take 2 or 3 Norse gods and ram them into one.
yeah,
Gonna smash them all together.
we got a lot of gods in this set, not to mention all the other myths. Hold on.
Yeah, no, this is
I'm counting gods right now.
because there's, with the exception of black, every single color has a mythic god and a rare god. Black has a mythic and 2 rares.
Yeah. So there's a lot to go through. A lot of really cool cards too.
Because for white, we got Halvar and we've got Raidane.
Yep,
Who's
that
looking
one's
forward to pronouncing all these names?
She looks like the Valkyrie god.
she's Freya.
I thought Freya was Essica, because we've got Essica's
there's
chariot.
aspects there, yeah. There's aspects in that one as well. But
Okay.
like the overall leader of the Valkyries thing. That's
I wish she
like,
would have
Oh,
gotten
yeah.
I wish they would have given her legendary creature Angel God, but I feel like I understand why they couldn't do that, because that would just open her up to a whole bunch of support that no other god gets.
Yeah.
Have we settled on who or what Halvar is?
I don't know. Don't know if we have. He's he's a little bit of a few gods, I think.
yeah, he's got a little bit of a tier aspect. He's got some Heimdall going on.
Heimdall?
He's got
I mean,
a few.
Alrund, Valky, and Torall for all kind of
They're
like
obvious.
it's Odin, Loki, and Thor. Like
Yeah. So Essica is not Freya. Who would she be?
Essica is Frigg.
It's who?
Here, let me see if I can get you a good reference for this.
So there's a lot of really fun cards in this set for Commander. Like who boy.
I think the Planeswalker side of Valky is really fun.
Have you heard how Valky and Tibble interact with Cascade?
I have
Wait,
not
what?
seen.
So, this has been confirmed by Wizards. You know how Cascade works. You cast a spell with Cascade, and you start exiling until you get cards that have a lesser converted mana cost, and then you get to cast that for free.
Yep.
Let's say you cast a Cascade spell that has 3. And so you're like, alright, I get a free 2-drop, and you hit Valky. You can then cast Valky as Tibble for free.
Oh my god.
It has been confirmed that is how the double face cards interact with Cascade.
Oh my
So
god.
long as their front face is a legal target,
Is a lower?
You can so long as their front face is legal, you can play them as their back face.
So that must mean that modal cards, their front face has everything to do with their CMC then.
Yeah, that's what you're counting unless they're like on the battlefield. Because once Tibble is on the battlefield, anything that's like, oh, destroy every permanent with CMC 6 or more, that would kill Tibble.
Yes.
But because Valky is the front face, in your deck, it is considered a 2 CMC card.
Okay.
So yeah, it's been confirmed by Wizards. That is how these cards, specifically Valky, interacts with Cascade, and I think that's wonderful.
That's really fun. This Tybalt is actually pretty good. You just exile cards, and you have an emblem that lets you cast them, which means Tybalt doesn't need to stick around.
No, because he gives you the emblem when you
Tybalt's
first hit.
ultimate too. Exiles all cards from all graveyards.
And it adds 3 mana that you can spend as if it were any color to cast those exiled cards. Spicy.
So real quick, did we want to start with cards we were like excited for Commander, or did we want to talk just about like the myths behind these?
We can kind of do the card and the myth all in one for each card, right? It doesn't have to go all gameplay.
Because I want to bring Coma up because everyone that knows me, that when this set was like we were leading up to spoilers, I am on the record as saying, if they gave me Jormungandr, then the entire set could be garbage. I would not care. All I want is Jormungandr. And like 2 days after I said that, Coma was spoiled, and I am so happy.
You were saying that like every day too.
Yeah, no, because you and I, Derrick, were. Because you are, like, hyper excited for this set. You have the most hype of anyone I saw leading up to this. And anytime something dropped, I didn't even have to go look for any information because my Twitter would go off and I'd have a message from you showing me.
It's so awesome. It's so great, too, that you're as excited for this set as you are, because it's a wonderful set.
Anyway, real quick, so Coma, 3 green, blue for a 6. So good old Simic Mythic. You know, we've had a great track record with those so far. 7 mana, 6/6. Can't be countered. I'm on board. At the beginning of each upkeep, so not just yours.
Oh, I didn't even notice that.
Yeah, each upkeep. Create a 3/3 blue serpent creature token named Coma's Coil. So, in a game of 4-player Commander, you play Coma. By the time it comes back to your turn, you should have 4 serpents if no one has dealt with Coma.
Oh my god.
But Derrick, what do you do with the serpents that Coma is spitting out?
Throw them away.
Okay. The rest of the cards: sacrifice another serpent, choose one. Tap target permanent. Its activated abilities can't be activated this turn. Worth noting that hits land.
Okay.
Or Coma Cosmos Serpent gains indestructible until end of turn. So I think this is the first Simic mythic that we've gotten in a while that doesn't like immediately give you accelerated mana or draw you a card just by existing.
Yeah, this is actually really cool and really unique for these colors. This card with what is it? Arcane Adaptation, is that the one that makes your creatures every creature type?
It lets you choose a creature type.
Yeah, so if you choose Serpent, then any token generator, like Avenger of Zendikar, makes you a bunch of serpents, then you can just sack them all and say, hey, you don't get to tap your lands for mana this turn.
That's rude.
It is.
I mean,
rude.
you could go that route. I would focus more on just swinging with him, and whenever anyone tries to destroy him, just make him indestructible.
Yeah.
But the thing that I like most about him is he's Jormungandr. That's obvious. He's the world serpent. The other thing that I had noticed, and I felt really stupid because when he's in the trailer for Kaldheim, I never noticed him until it had been pointed out after both the card and the trailer had come out. At the end of the trailer, when Tibble is standing in front of the image of the tree and is talking about like wanting the Sword of Realms for absolute chaos. Chaos. There's no T in chaos. Coma is wrapped up in the branches of the tree.
Yeah, and you can even see the tree in his card art. It's behind him.
Yeah, so he's not just Jormungandr. He's also, and I'm probably going to butcher the pronunciation, Nidhogg? Is that just how the dragon's name is? Granted, Nidhogg is in the roots of the world tree, and Coma is in the branches. But yeah, I think it's kind of cool that we got both Nidhogg and Jormungandr kind of nice and easily in one card.
Fun thing is, they also threw the Nidhogg flavor into a Immersturm Predator.
The vampire dragon.
Yeah, because it's a vampire dragon.
How do you spell that? Is it Rakdos? I can probably just find it on.
Yeah, it's the Rakdos.
IMM. Yeah, if you scroll all the way down to all the multicolored cards, it's 4 cards down on the far left.
I absolutely love vampire dragon.
That's a crazy creature type.
3/3 for 2 black-red with flying. When it becomes tapped, exile up to 1 target card from a graveyard and put a +1/+1 counter on Immersturm Predator. Sack another creature. The Predator gains indestructible until end of turn.
It's a free sack outlet.
Oh, Corvold says hello. Which I believe I tweeted as soon as this card was spoiled. I was like, oh, hey, cool. Corvold gets a new friend. Because you know what Corvold was hurting for? More cards.
More sack outlets.
Absolutely. You know what really likes Immersturm Predator?
Corvold?
Turgrid. Turgrid loves it when people are sacking their creatures.
Which one is Turgrid?
The god that nobody wants to play against in Commander.
What color is it?
Black. 3 and 2 swamp.
The god of fright.
For the 4/5 menace. When an opponent sacks a non-token permanent or discards a permanent, you may put that card from a graveyard onto the battlefield under your control.
Oh, I deeply misread what she did. I thought it was whenever an opponent sacrifices a non-token permanent or discards a permanent card, you may put this card from your graveyard onto the battlefield under your control. I thought she brought herself back.
No, she steals anything that's not a token, because the tokens...
Oh!
Tokens don't go to the grave. Or
They do go to the
they go
grave,
to the
and then
grave
they
and then they-
immediately stop existing.
Yeah, because she specifically puts puts the card that died from the grave onto the battlefield, so she can't grab tokens.
Her backstory is comically tragic.
Yeah.
Wizards dropped an article that has the like some little lore bits for all the gods, and Tergrid. The reason that she carries a lantern is because when she was 4 years old, her shadow came alive and tried to kill her.
Oh,
And now
that's what her flip side, Tergrid's lantern says.
Yeah. That's so her shadow like stalks her and is constantly trying to kill her. And apparently she's relatively pleasant to be around, but she gets angry if you mention that her shadow is alive. She prefers people ignore it. And apparently she has a habit of just spitting out like dark prophecies, cutting conversation short and making everyone uncomfortable. But she just wants to be normal.
She just wants friends.
What is it that her backside does? What does the lantern do?
Target player loses 3 life unless they sacrifice a non-land permanent or discard a card. 3 in black and tap Tergrid's lantern.
So her lantern works really well with her. So, like in standard,
that's the thing with most of the modal gods I've noticed, which doesn't mean anything in Commander, but you're right, in standard they work really well.
You can have both. I had to actually explain that to you, Andrew, because
I don't really consider standard when looking at these new sets because I don't play it.
Neither do I.
That's why it didn't cross my mind.
But yeah, no, I wanted to talk about Coma. I wanted to stop real briefly on a black common that I think is hilarious. Feed the Serpent. 2 black, instant, exile target creature or planeswalker. This was a rare on Ixalan. Vraska's Contempt is this exact same card, but it has gain 2 life. Same speed, same targets, same mana cost, same like mana dispersion. It's 2 black, instant. Exile target creature or planeswalker, gain 2 life. So yeah, a lot of jokes about the difference between a rare and a common is gain 2 life.
Look how massive Coma is. Oh my god.
Honestly, I would expect him to be bigger.
I mean, that
might not even be him. Yes, it's him, but that might be one of, because Coma's whole thing is he separates it. No one knows how big he really is because he separates himself into smaller serpents. Those are what the Coma's coils are.
That's kind of cool.
So that might be one of them. But no, the other card I really wanted to talk about specifically with Derrick, because if we scroll over to green, I think Derrick knows exactly who I want to talk about.
Is it?
It's our boy,
Toski.
It's our scroll-tailed boy.
Oh, I've got something fun to talk about with that too.
Is it the fact that he's, in addition to being Ratatusker, he's also Tyr?
That part is delightful.
Because he's missing his right paw.
But there's a card for 2 green. I think it's a rare.
Oh yeah, In Search of Greatness. It's him talking to Seraph.
Yup, and you know what story that's referencing?
I do not.
The Binding of Fenrir. Where Tyr convinces Fenrir to trust him, and by doing that, Tyr puts his hand in Fenrir's mouth to show, hey, see, you can trust me because if you get bound, you can just bite my hand off.
And then he does.
But doesn't Fenrir get... Yeah, doesn't... Because we've also got the card, the common, Bind the Monster, which is Seraph being bound with 8 magical chains.
Yup.
So In Search of Greatness confirms that Toski is referencing tier.
Part
I think
tier.
I think it's kind of cool that the hand that he's offering to Seraph is because he's already missing his hand. Because if you look in the artwork of In Search of Greatness, he's balancing on his right hand, which is the one replaced by 2 climbing hooks.
Yeah.
So I think it would have been a little cooler if he was like, if his left paw was down and he was holding out his right uneaten paw.
Like it
to,
was a before shot.
Yeah, to Seraph, and that like would have 100% instantly confirmed it, but I didn't even consider the binding of Fenrir, because you've even got Tusky's tail kind of like maneuvering around Seraph, similar to chains. Yeah, those are the 2 big ones I personally wanted to talk about. And I feel like I've been doing way too much talking. Who's up next?
Derrick, did you want to look at any cards specifically?
Yeah, I'm actually looking through trying to figure out like what specifically is really cool. Like,
how do we feel about the boast ability? While Derrick
Boast
looks
is
for
amazing.
Yeah, no,
Boast is fun. It's a cool mechanic. I don't know if it's referencing anything specific in Norse mythology.
It's just referencing like Viking berserkers. Like, nothing will stop me. I will kill anyone who comes up to challenge me. Telling stories that are grander than life.
I see. Like,
you're boasting.
Because
That's
Vikings did that a lot, huh?
I mean, obviously we can't go back and ask them, but it's kind of built around that mythos of like I'm out here, all I've got is a shield and an axe and a loincloth and a helmet. My chest is bare. Who thinks they can take me? I don't think any of you can. Also, I want to bring quick attention to Arun's Epiphany, where we can see Arun's nice creamy thighs. Anyway, Derrick, please pick a card so we can move away from me saying nice creamy thighs.
I don't know. That's pretty great right there. But
all right. So thanks for joining us on today's episode of Taps for.
I'm gonna make it full screen. The card. There we go.
Since we were talking boast, I wanted to talk about Burgie because I
love her
Burgie's
so
good at
much.
Storytelling. In the story, she actually causes fights by making people boast about their accomplishments and making others doubt them.
The article that Wizards had posted that gave like lore about all the gods and everything, hers made me laugh so hard. So all the gods are related to some degree. Cosima, god of the voyage, married and had children with Alrund. And I believe their 3 children were Burgie, Toralf, and Essek. No, not Esseka. The other green god, Glory. And Burgie has so Toralf, god of fury, our Thor analog, just wants to be left alone. He wants to go out there and he wants to do things no one else has done. And Burgie just wants to tell an amazing story, and she's not above embellishing facts, and apparently is not above claiming stuff that Toralf has done as her own exploits. And to the point where she apparently hired a dwarf to follow Toralf and report back to her about the stuff Toralf was doing so she could tell stories and claim she did it. Toralf got upset by this and killed that dwarf. So she responded. Okay, I guess technically he didn't kill the dwarf. He threw the dwarf off a mountain. Whether or not the dwarf died is irrelevant. She then hired a second dwarf to follow him, but be much sneakier about it, and he apparently has not noticed the second dwarf yet. I love her so much.
It's so good.
Her abilities are just like busted though. Her and the horn she turns into.
Yeah. Discard card exile time. Yeah, that's value in mono red. Oh, and boasting twice is pretty good.
Boasting twice.
Especially with some of the abilities.
Yeah, how do you
Some of
feel
the
about
boasts are crazy.
paying? How do you feel about paying for Diabolic Tutor but getting 2 cards?
Is that what the
With
Sounds fair.
there's that Varagoth, Bloodsky Sire, whose ability. Oh, his ability is Vampiric Tutor, but for the price of Demonic Tutor. So I guess technically you're not getting 2 cards, but you know what your next 2 draws are.
Yeah, and boasting,
If you were to,
boasting twice, you still have to pay the second time.
yeah, but that's still 2 black for 2 cards that you don't have to reveal that you can just put on top of your deck.
It's pretty good. That does mean that Bergie is probably just going to be in the 99 of most decks, because I don't know how good she would be in a mono red as the commander of a mono red deck.
I would say the horn that she turns into, having that in the command zone for mono red, is pretty cool.
Her first ability is really good in the command zone too.
Yeah, whenever you cast a spell, add red until end of turn. You don't lose this mana as steps and phases end.
Storm.
That's fair.
But yeah, Bergie, God of Storytelling, but then her back half, Harnfell, Horn of Bounty, 4 and a red, legendary artifact. Discard a card. Exile the top 2 cards of your library. You may play those cards this turn. Like
2 for 1.
Let's say you're flooding out. You've just got so much land, and you've just got so many lanes in hand. Discard a land, get 2 new cards. Like, you're right. I think there's a lot of decks that she'll fit in the 99 for, but I think there's also going to be a ton of decks she is going to be the commander for, which, like Derrick had pointed out, Storm.
That's fair. Yeah, that's fair. It doesn't all have to be for Boast then.
Because I think somebody in the CEDH community pointed out that Bergie, Cloudstone Curio, Rogue Rock, and what's the goblin that makes treasure? Dockside Extortionist. If you make 1 treasure off of Dockside, you go infinite.
Doesn't take
Oh,
much,
lovely.
does
It super doesn't.
Yeah, I'm gonna grab a couple cards I want to talk about.
While you do that, let's continue the broken train and talk about Mystic Reflection.
Yep, that was one of the ones I was pulling up.
Made me a little sad that it shows a shark, but we didn't get any sharks.
You mean 20 Avenger of Zendikar?
Oh, I'm sorry. You mean 100 plant tokens? Yes.
Yeah, the card. Oh my god, this is one of my favorite cards from the set.
Want to read what it does, Andrew?
Yeah, 1 and a blue for an instant. Choose target non-legendary creature. The next time 1 or more creatures or planeswalkers enter the battlefield this turn, they enter as copies of the chosen creature. And you can foretell for a blue.
Oh,
Before we go
boy.
on, do we want to? How do we feel about Foretell? Because Foretell,
Foretell is amazing.
I love foretell.
It's an extra hand that the only way you can mess with it is an Eldrazi processor.
yeah.
Yeah. And
So just real quick to cover Foretell, during your turn, pay 2 generic. You exile the card face down from your hand, and it looks like you have to do that at sorcery speed. No, only on your.
There's a card that lets you do it on instant.
Okay. So you have to do it sorcery speed on your turn. You pay the 2 generic, you put it down, only you get to look at it. And then on a later turn, because you can't and I don't know why you would, because you would actually end up paying more mana for it, using Mystic Reflection as an example, you can't pay the 2 to foretell it, and then on that turn, pay the blue to then cast it. You'd have to wait another turn. But yeah, no, it's super cool. Just especially all of those turn 1s in Commander where it's cool, land, Soul Ring.
Yeah.
and then just
I
pass.
was
You
just
can now
gonna-
use that Soul Ring and just set something aside for later.
Yeah, I was just gonna bring that up because if you turn one basic land Soul Ring and then foretell a card, you can if you hit your land drops, you can play a foretell 4 spell on turn 2.
You could wipe the board with Doomscar.
You can drop Battle Mammoth turn 2. What else?
Oh my god.
Cosmos Charger. So yeah, a lot of these you can just get sooner than you otherwise would.
Oh, I've got another
so
interaction
What's that?
With Foretell or Mystic Reflection?
with Mystic Reflection.
Yeah.
If you have Orvar the All form out,
Let's look at Orvar while we're at it.
3 and a blue for a 3/3 shapeshifter with Changeling. He's the one that you like, Andrew, with the water.
Yeah, really good art.
Whenever you cast whenever you cast an instant or sorcery spell, if it targets one or more permanents you control, create a token that's a copy of one of those permanents. When a
that's
spell
a
or
whole extra token.
I don't think it is.
No,
Because of the
it
way
is.
Mystic Reflection is worded.
Mr.
Yep.
Reflection does target.
You don't target that because you can't target Orvar with Mystic Reflection.
But when you
But-
cast Mystic Reflection, you are sorry to cut you off. You do target, like in the best example, Avenger of Zendikar. Orvar would make an Avenger of Zendikar token.
So is he making the token before Mystic Reflection's ruling of just the next time one or more creatures or planeswalkers enter the battlefield?
I think so, because it's when you cast it, if it targets.
Because
it
then
does
I would
target.
think that whatever you're targeting is going to use that up.
It's gonna. No, I think it's at the same time, isn't it?
I think you cast
Cast?
Mystic Reflection, Orvar trigger resolves, Mystic Reflection resolves.
So it would go Orvar trigger and then Mystic Reflection, which means your Mystic Reflection would still work, and you'd have an extra token.
Okay, so this is just more manipulate the stack
you'd
in a
have
way that
one
I'm
extra
too smooth
token.
brain to understand.
Yeah, I think there's a way to do it that it does what you want it to do.
It just does one
Regardless-
extra token.
But hey, that's not nothing.
Yeah, Orvar is also just a really cool card, really good shapeshifter commander.
I'm building a Momir Vig deck with Orvar in it. I'm taking apart my Dimir, and I'm building Simic.
Who is it that Orvar just basically replaces? Misform Ultimus. Everyone was talking about with Orvar being printed, Misform Ultimus is now just, why would you run Mistform over Orvar?
Oh yeah,
Because Mistform is basically just an illusion with Changeling.
yeah, and Orvar is just the same CMC, same fire toughness, but just better in every other way.
But does things.
Yeah, it's not virtually a vanilla. That's really cool. I really like Orvar. What myth does it represent? Where do shapeshifters come from in Norse mythology? That's my question.
Honestly, that's a Loki thing.
Yeah, so why?
Yeah, because I know there's like the thing with the horse, which little disappointed we didn't get Slipnir. Unless that's what. No, we did get Slipnir. Never mind. The Cosmos Charger. It's got the legs. We did get Slipnir. Never mind. I'm stupid.
Oh yeah. Oh my god, that's unsettling.
More or less unsettling than Loki mating with a horse and being the mother.
You know,
About the same.
Fair enough.
no comment.
I also want it to be known, Egon, God of Death, ages backwards.
Yup.
That was also in the in his little lore tidbit, and
yeah, that's on his card.
so he looks like. Oh yeah, there it is. Ages backwards. His wisdom soured by youthful spite. Yeah, a lot of the gods don't take him seriously because they think he's just an edgy teenager.
So does that mean that he's gonna die by aging backwards?
I mean, they all drink the Cosmos Elixir, which slows their aging. But yeah, I mean, all of these gods are capable of death.
We did talk about that because that's why they're the only gods that don't have some kind of protection against death or exile.
Yeah. What else did you want to talk about, Andrew? You said you had a list.
I have a couple, yeah. So, Reflections of Litjara. As it enters, so it's a 4 and a blue for an enchantment. As it enters, choose a creature type. Whenever you cast a spell with the chosen type, copy that spell. Real good for tribal decks.
Especially given that there's that niche benefit of if you cast a tribal instant or sorcery that is the creature type that you named, it will copy that based on how it's worded.
Ooh. This is a card that's gonna go in it's going in my Nephilim deck. I can cast a Nephilim and copy it.
Oh my god, the one time when them not being legendary is actually helpful.
Yeah. I can just keep copying. I can copy them when they enter.
That's actually kind of gross, because their effects are not bad.
Yeah, and 4 out of 5 of them do stuff when they either attack or deal combat damage. So this is just a cool card for tribal builds.
4 out of 5, Nephilim agree. Combat damage is good.
Yeah.
I do have to say something else about Egon, the god of death.
Yeah.
Did you notice his showcase art?
I like that. What did he? What is behind him?
What does that look like to you?
I can't actually see it that well. Let me zoom in.
Hold on, I need a...
That's not.
Who does it look like?
It's a demon.
Yeah, that's. It's not Vorinclex.
Yeah, it's a demon.
No, it's not the Klex. It does have a card.
Is it that the Blood Sky Sire?
It honestly looks more like the Dream Devourer.
Yeah, I was gonna say, I think that's...
Or the Burning Rune Demon. It looks more like one of those two.
Oh. I think it's more just that's what the demons of Kaldheim look like, and he's killed a demon.
Yeah, it may not have any story significance.
I feel like there's going to be a story bit where he just goes ham.
What's funny is apparently both Egon, and Kolvori, god of kinship, they both feel like the Skoti gods, which is this current pantheon, are going to tear themselves apart. Egon is very pessimistic about it, whereas Kolvori is the peacekeeper and loves all of her siblings and cousins and leaves them gifts. But they both are afraid that the pantheon is going to tear itself apart and destroy itself. But because they are polar opposites personality-wise, they cannot stand each other.
Let's talk about... Let's go on to multicolor and then colorless, because we're approaching 40 minutes here on the video. Do we want to talk about the couple of the new planeswalkers?
I love that leading up to, like in the weeks leading up to Kaldheim, you had like neo-Nazis and whatnot that were complaining that this set needed to be like all the characters needed to be white if they wanted to maintain the Norse mythology, and so the three face walkers of the set are a black woman, a non-binary individual, and a red devil twink.
The way you put that, and the red devil twink.
It's amazing, and I
want you to look at his artwork and tell me he is not. This also has, real quick, no bearing on the story whatsoever, but I love the various mediums of like art styles that are portrayed in the sagas. Like, the Blood Sky Massacre is a dude's tattoo. Arnie Slays the Troll is a story carved into a horn. Binding the Old Gods. That dude didn't paint that, he carved it.
It's pretty cool.
The artwork for Binding the Old Gods, that's not a painting. The dude actually like carved it and used a photo of it for the artwork.
That's a fun thing about the lore too, is that there were gods before them and they got stuck in the tree by the new gods.
Yeah, it's part of the reason why the elves are really upset, because they worshipped or even were this old pantheon of gods, and they worshipped Koma. And then the Scody gods were like, alright, you're in the tree, and Koma's not allowed to go into any realms, he's going to become too big. And the elves are like, if you don't let him in a realm, he's going to kill the tree, and we're all going to die.
You will bring about the end times, you fools. So let's talk about Nico, who's a really, really cool planeswalker. I love them a lot. So X white, blue, when they enter, create X shard tokens, which have pay 2 and sack it, scry 1, then draw a card, which is already pretty neat. But you don't have to pay for X, so this can just be a 3 mana planeswalker. I can see your Discord messages on the recording.
Yeah, we're talking about Vorinclex.
Yeah.
Anyway.
+1 up to 1 target creature you control can't be blocked this turn. Whenever that creature deals damage, return it to its owner's hand. -1, Nico deals 2 damage to target tapped creature for each card you draw on this turn. And -1, make a shard.
The shard thing is amazing.
The shards are really cool. Really cool aesthetically and mechanically.
And the whole Theros enchantment deal. And the shards are enchantments, which triggers enchantress decks.
Because Nico is originally from Theros.
Yeah. It's so cool. Like, I'm reading about Nico, because they put up some story bits about Nico before the set started being spoiled. Like, those shards can apparently change fate, and I think that's what these scrying and drawing a card is. And then they can also put like things and creatures into a shard and throw it, and then have the creature pop out of the shard somewhere else. That's what their +1 ability is. They're literally putting your creature into a shard, throwing it at your enemy, and then they're popping out and hitting your enemy. That's why they're unblockable.
Then why do they return to the owner's hand?
That part I don't know.
Probably like Nico throwing out another shard for them to like get back into and then pulling it back.
Maybe something like that.
I do like that because I think javelin is a sport from the Olympics, and the Olympics started in Greece, and Greece is Theros, and Nico is hurling javelins.
Yeah, that's the kind of athlete they are. That could be what the flavor is, because they're you can see shards floating behind them, so maybe they can just retract them. Regardless, really cool mechanics, really cool. I love the alternate art. Alternate art's really nice.
Oh, the full art, Nico.
Yeah.
I really like that we got a cycle of uncommon legends for each of the 10 realms.
That is very cool. Are they?
Vega for spirits, Narfi for the Draugr, Carter for demons, Svella for trolls, Maja for humans, Firya for angels, Agar for giants, Harold for elves, Cole for dwarves. Who Cole might be dead, and Mori of the Frost.
Pretty sure Cole is dead.
Because on the saga, the Trickster Gods heist, I think Tybalt killed Cole.
Poor Cole.
As the Tybalt do.
Also, apparently with Morit of the Frost, I guess there's two different like tribes of changelings. There's the Cove Walkers and I think like the Branch Walkers or something like that. And Morit was born to one of those tribes, learned everything that they could, or learned everything that she could. She has a gender. She learned everything she could from her own tribe and then was supposed to go out into the world. But she was like, no, I want to know what's going on over in Pokemon Blue and from here in Pokemon Red. And so Trade Link cabled herself over to the other game, changed herself into appearing like one of the Cove Walkers, and learned all of their stuff, and then went out into Pokemon Yellow. And
magnificent.
So they are considered the most learned of the shapeshifters because they know the traditions and history of both tribes, and then went out into the world.
They're like it's like the Oracle, the Legend of Zelda Oracle games, where you can New Game Plus by beating one and then putting in the code for the other game and continuing.
And then you fight Twin Rova, and then then you fight Ganon.
Yeah, and then you learn everything about both shapeshifter tribes. Morit is also one of my favorite cards. Another copy spell, which, Derrick, I agree with you. One of my favorite
Which
mechanics. One? Morit.
Simic.
Morit. Yeah.
Wait.
What?
What is that legend? 3-color Simic. Not Simic. Why did I say 3-color Simic? That makes no sense. 3-color shapeshifter copying style. Phyrexian character.
Phyrexian character?
Sultai. Volrath.
Oh.
Yeah!
Volrath, the shape stealer.
Yes. That's who I was thinking of. Yep, Volrath's a shapeshifter. So you could
But he doesn't
slap.
have changeling.
You could slap those into a Volrath deck.
Could.
The artifacts are pretty neat. Just casually giving us a new birthing pod.
Yeah, Pyre of Heroes.
Slivers
Real
say
casual.
hello.
No, Slivers say goodbye.
Maskwood Nexus is...
Also,
No.
the Nexus is cool. I also really like the giant glass of Baja Blast.
Is that Cosmos Elixir?
No, Andrew, it's the Weathered Runestone. Yes, it's the Cosmos Elixir.
Then there's Weathered Runestone that hoses Vidrock among other commanders. Just can't cast stuff.
It's just Grafdigger's Cage, but more.
Yes.
What about the Colossal Plow?
Ah, yes.
Not worth talking about if we're not talking about our good friend, the Giant Ox.
Oh, yes.
Yeah. Oh, Replicated Ring as well. That has a mythology equivalent.
Yeah, I didn't realize that was a like, I didn't, one, realize that was a myth, and two, I didn't realize just how well known that myth was.
And how spot on the flavor of the card is.
Yup, it like equals out to the exact bits of the myth. It's amazing.
Because it would take 9 days for the ring to make the 8 copies of itself, and with this, the first, it would take 9 days, 9 nights, whatever. And in this, the first quote unquote night is that first turn where it doesn't have any counters, and then 8 more, and then it copies itself. You've got
8 more. You copy it 8 more times.
Yeah, just get to turn 8, or get 8 turns ahead, and then you can start ramping.
Not even. All you got to do is proliferate.
Oh yeah, this is going in my Seraph deck because that runs a lot of proliferate. But yeah, in any deck that isn't green, in EDH especially, this is a really good long game card because it can just get you a bunch of mana.
I super misunderstood this card when I first read it because I didn't realize that the copies that it makes are different from itself. Yeah. I didn't realize it's the replicating ring and it makes replicated rings. I thought it made 8 copies of itself that after 8 more turns all also made an additional 8 copies.
It does not do that, but yeah, if you find some way to copy it, then yeah, you start. Wait, no, never mind.
It can go again after it's 8 counters too.
Whose bingo card had a scarecrow showing up?
Not me.
Oh, the Scorn effigy?
Yeah.
With Foretell 0?
Yeah. But who expected a scarecrow?
It is weird.
Like, I appreciate him, and I'm happy he's here, and I like that his right hand that's holding a stick has its pinky out, but
it's classy.
And he's going straight into Reaper King, which I want to call out Graham Stark from Loading Ready Run, because they were talking about Kaldheim spoilers when we only had a handful of them, and he was like, yeah, so Scorn effigy, so a scarecrow for everyone that plays scarecrows in Commander. All 2 of you are probably real excited to get this thing. And I was like, just because it's true doesn't mean you have to say it, and it's hurtful.
I thought you were going to say, I feel seen.
This does give a lot of support for scarecrows, though, because all of the changelings, we've got the Bloodline Pretender.
Yeah, but using changelings for tribal builds is a cop-out, and I won't stand for it. The Snowlands look gorgeous.
You were the one that came up with Nephilim Tribal, using more of
I'm super not.
Okay.
I stole that from someone.
And I've been giving you credit this whole time. How?
Yeah, that's because I didn't correct you. Anyway.
Who sweltered
the snow basics.
Oh, still mine.
So the snow basics look gorgeous. I love the one with the evolving. I love the mountain that's erupting.
Yes, I love the forest with the owl in the branches.
With that, just the pissed off owl.
Yeah,
and the cycle of snow dual lands with basic land types.
Oh yeah,
very very nice.
My favorite land from all of these, though, it has to be the
World Tree.
No, the World Tree is one of them for my God deck, obviously. But the other one is
dragons into play.
Litjara.
Oh, the Litjara Mirror Lake is because we've also got the cycle of uncommon lands that all tap for a single color, but do something with the 2 colors of their respective realm.
Yeah.
And Litjara Mirror Lake is just so good. Same with Shimmerdrift Veil. Enters tapped. When it enters the battlefield, choose a color, and then add 1 mana of the chosen color, so you can just have it fix whatever you need to.
Ooh, that is nice. I didn't notice that the dual lands were common.
Yeah, they're all like
Yeah.
common.
That's really nice. That's so nice.
Shout out to Pyrite Sanctum, which I'm going to use to ascend the Brushwag. I'm gonna make him the god that he deserves to be.
Brushwag god.
Yeah, the World Tree combined with that Faceless Nexus or whatever, that artifact, Maskwood Nexus. That with the World Tree, you just get all of your creatures into play.
Yep.
At once.
I like how we're completing the pathway cycle.
Yeah.
So I can stop being angry about that.
Means I can get the last pathway that I need for Ghidorah. Because I've got the other two that are in Ghidorah's colors.
You needed the Simic one.
I think there might be more that I need, but anyway. I don't know. Math is hard.
I think the last card that I wanted to talk about that we haven't yet is Seralf.
Oh.
Who very obviously Fenrir. But I want to talk about the card itself.
So Seralf is so obviously Fenrir that a guy was posting artwork from when they were coming up with the concept of Kaldheim, and the concept art for Seralf is labeled Fenrir.
Yeah.
So, like, if there's any doubt in the one person who thinks the giant Norwegian wolf isn't Fenrir, he is in fact Fenrir.
Yeah. Really cool design. The only reason I would like the normal art over the alternate art, because I love the metal artwork. I just like the colors in the original more. The metal artworks tend to be like one or two colors for the most part, and then black.
All those blues and greens.
Yeah, just not a lot of color variants, although they do look really cool. Especially, I think Vorinclex is my favorite out of those. But no, Seralf, I'm going to be building this commander deck. I've already got kind of an idea of what I'm going to do with it. It's going to be proliferate and planeswalkers. That's why I need that Derrick. Because whenever a permanent an opponent controls is put into a graveyard from the battlefield, you put a counter on it. On your upkeep, if he has one or more +1/+1 counters, you can remove them all and exile each other non-land permanent with CMC less than or equal to the number of counters. So it's a board wipe that hits every god except for the War of the Spark Gods, which I think is really flavorful for what Fenrir is.
Because, yeah, the War of the Spark Gods come back from exile.
Yeah. It's almost perfect flavor-wise, but it does...
They're very stubborn.
What's up?
They're very stubborn.
Yeah, the War of the Spark Gods. Because they're undead. Except for Ilharg, which is the only one that is like... I think it just had that ability just because the others did.
Before we wrap things up, I do want to... The artwork for Fall of the Imposter, that saga, seems to be implying that Tybalt is going to be killed. And
I don't think he's going to be killed.
Fall of the Imposter.
Kaya, well, at the very least, he's going to be defeated. And Kaya and the Elven Planeswalker, who's a massive himbo, are going to have to take on Vorinclex.
Oh, that is what that looks
like. That is
like,
Vorinclex up at the top, yeah.
That's cool.
Yeah, and the Tyrite sword's there too.
Where?
Right in the middle of Vorinclex's face.
Oh, you're right. How can you tell that that's Kaya and the Elven Planeswalker? It's so not obvious with the purple.
Could
details.
be anyone.
Yeah.
And the guy falling from the tree?
It could even be a boat!
How do you know the guy falling from the tree isn't like Obnixilis? I mean, jeez.
Andrew, I'm going to go into my car right now and drive to your
It
house.
could be Tevish Zot for all we know.
Tevish Zot is super long dead.
How do you know?
Because Urza turned him into a bomb. Urza took his soul, put it in a bomb, and blew up Phyrexia.
No, that's super cool. I didn't even see this card when it was spoiled. I don't even know what it does. Counter, exile. Yeah, it's all right.
Oh, and I think that look in the background of the tree. I do believe those are coma serpents.
They are.
Yeah.
That
Yeah, because the elves worship Coma.
That is a lot of story details in one piece of artwork.
I also worship Coma, and that I would like to go to bed.
All right. Fair enough. All right, I gotta get this uploaded. So we are gonna wrap this up. Thank you all so much for watching and listening to us talk about this new set. I think we're all very excited for Kaldheim.
I know Derrick has been hounding me of finding a time and a place to talk about this set, and I was like, "Relax, friend, it's coming."
Yes, we're gonna have to have a game of Essica versus Seraph. Not just
Versus Coma.
Not just a 1v1, yeah, an actual 4-player game, but because I named my Seraph deck God Eater, and this is your Essica deck is the God Tribal, so it feels like it has to happen.
It do.
Yeah.
My serpent deck is named the Midgard Serpent. Although I think Andrew and I agreed we were going to change it to Twilight of the Thunder God,
Yeah.
named after the Amon Amarth song.
It's a really good name. I need to look
So-
up that song and listen to it while I'm editing.
I'm going to be putting together a list of the gods that I still need to get after I get my booster box, because I bought that today.
Oh, nice.
Nice.
Anyways, yeah,
Anyway,
we should
take us
go.
home, Andrew.
Thank you all once again for watching. Can't wait to play this set. You can find Derrick, their Twitter in the link below. I have been Andrew. We will see you next time.
And I've been Tyler, and I love you.
We all love all of you.
But I love you more.
Okay. Have a great day, all.